Hey everyone, welcome to Drive-By Reviews, where today we're taking a look at the AF-S 16-85mm lens from NIKKOR, known to be one of the most balanced and versatile standard zoom lenses for DX-format DSLRs. Now with that range, 16-85, this is a fantastic lens for portraits, for taking shots of nature, architecture, basically anything. But the question I hope to answer today is it worth that exorbitant cost, as this lens comes in retail around $700. So let's crack open this box and take a look and see what's inside and how it performs and see, is it worth the cost? Here we go. All right, here we go. Looking at the box, we've got the AF-S DX NIKKOR 16-85mm F3.5-5.6G ED VR lens, and it's got that vibration reduction 2 technology in there. And this package comes with both the hood and a case, which is great. I've been seeing a kind of a motif there that the lenses always kind of come with a hood, usually placed on the top of the packaging above the lens. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Here's the hood, and here's the case. Let's actually take a quick look at that hood there. All right, yeah, just a light piece of plastic there. As long as it fits firmly, I'll be happy with that. The last one I did was kind of a loose fitting, which, you know, doesn't really harm its performance. It just seems like they could do better, right? And there we go, just kind of packaged in there with the cardboard padding, and we got the manual and warranty in there. And then here's the lens inside of its sack. It's actually heavier than I expected, especially considering it's still got a lot of that plastic element going on. But I'm assuming that a lot of that weight's coming from the 3 aspherical lenses that they're boasting about in this lens that's supposed to virtually eliminate lens distortions of any kind, really. There you go, there's that beautiful front lens right there. And there's the back, that nice metallic contact. All right, we got our focus range display there going from infinity, and I believe the minimum focus range here is 1.3 feet. And then we've got, of course, our zoom, 85 millimeters all the way to 16, and that has got a nice stiffness to it. There's a significant difference here between this and the last AF-S lens I just reviewed. The zoom lens, I believe it was, 55 to 300 millimeter. And this right here, I wish it was the kit lens that came with the D7500. I mean, it just goes wider, it zooms in farther, and it's just a better lens overall. But of course, they're not going to throw in a $700 lens as a kit lens. Just, you know, wishes and dreams there. And beyond that, they've got some switches on here. Looks like we've got our normal and active mode switch, our VR switch, we can turn on and off. And then we also have manual and manual automatic mode. And of course, if you experienced this purely automatic mode, you know that it is a little bit annoying when you get used to the MA switch there, when you only have automatic available, as it locks out your ability to focus when you're in that automatic mode. But this right here has MA, which is fantastic. You know, everything about this lens, the hood, the zoom, the focus ring, is just crisp, stiff, very well fit. You can tell this is a quality designed lens, especially in comparison to those cheaper 2 lenses I just reviewed. All right, I'm excited to try this out. Let's slap it onto the D7500 and see if it holds up to the hype that surrounds it. Here we go. Nikon's claim on this lens is that it offers incredible sharpness and performance in any setting, while also boasting the wide-angle to medium telephoto zoom is broad enough to utilize for the majority of subjects. So what are they talking about here? Well, there are 2 extra-low dispersion glass elements, which is what the ED on the box stands for, and they're designed to minimize chromatic aberration while offering superior sharpness and color correction, while 3 aspherical lens elements supposedly eliminate coma and other types of lens distortion. In other words, this lens is designed to produce beautiful photography with little to no unexpected and unwanted results. On that point, here's my quick distortion test, and although I would say it's impressive how little distortion is present, there's clearly noticeable barrel distortion at 16mm and pincushion distortion at 85mm. That being said, the photos did have a constant motif of being sharp with impressive color depth despite subject and lighting environment. Just take a look at these night shots. Beautiful array of colors captured with a long exposure. Of course, with the fastest f-stop at 3.5, a tripod was essential here, but when held steady, this lens performed remarkably well in low light. During the day, handheld was all that was necessary thanks to the stabilization technology in the lens and the D7500 body I was using. Crisp, clear shots here with moving subjects as well. Although when zoomed into 85mm, I found it necessary to be very intentional on keeping my hand steady to avoid any blurring. When indoors with limited lighting, like when I shot this old farming equipment display, I had to keep my hand steady even at 16mm and f-stop 3.5, which is its fastest. At times it was necessary to use the flash to even fill in enough light for a sharper result. Either that or bring in my trusty dusty tripod, which was less dusty than the trusty dusty trucks. Now when I threw this lens onto the body and took a look through the viewfinder, I was impressed at how wide of a shot I could get at that 16mm, especially when comparing it to the 18-55mm kit lens that came with my D7500. And of course this lens has far less distortion going on than the kit lens as well. You guys saw it. I wouldn't call it virtually eliminated, but it's much less compared to other lenses out there with a similar zoom. So the big question is it worth it, right? Well, my answer is gonna be yes, with a caveat, okay? Because I believe lenses overall are just kind of individualized in necessity. One person's gonna have a different need than another in a different situation. So this lens does exactly as they claim, works phenomenally well with DX-format cameras like the D7500. As you guys saw, it has great color depth and dynamic range, and of course with that 16-85mm, you can use it for all sorts of types of shots. Now that being said, if you're looking at pinching your pennies and you're choosing between this type of a price range lens and maybe two smaller lenses that could fulfill the same type of duties, then it really kind of depends what you're looking for. But it can't be denied that this is definitely a higher quality built lens than something like even the AFP kit lens, the 18-55mm. But I will say, even if I was carrying this around and it eliminated the need to carry two other similar type lenses to cover that zoom and capability, I would still at least carry around an ultra fast prime and probably something that zooms a bit farther, like the 300mm or more. And that being the case, it really kind of comes down to, do you have the cash burning a hole in your pocket? Because if you got a DX format camera and you're looking for a lens that can go through that wide angle to a bit more of a zoom than the kit lens, I mean, this guy is phenomenal at what it claims to do and totally worth the price at that point. However, if you don't need the capabilities, you're never going to go to 16mm. I mean, there's no reason to buy this lens if you're happy with what you got and you don't really have a need for anything more. I will say beyond that, it is nice that there's a little added function to the vibration reduction 2 technology in this lens, where they have that normal and active mode. Active basically meaning it's going to compensate for greater movements. So anticipating you're going to be in like a vehicle of some sort. I usually don't shoot from cars, but I could see how for myself personally it would work well if I was on a boat or a moving platform of some sort. And it's just nice to have that extra function to the image stabilization on the lens itself. But beyond that, a phenomenal lens, and it does do what they promise, except for maybe the virtual elimination of distortion. But beyond that, everything was spot on exactly what they claimed. Now, if you're interested in this lens for yourself, I'll put a link in the description below for you to check out. Don't forget to comment and let me know what you think of this lens, and hit that like button. And I'll see you guys next time on Drive by Nikko. The review.